Well, good evening, everybody. Hi, welcome to another edition of the ACHA Power Play. We are live here on 12-ounce Sports and Dingo TV. I had it right the first time. I always get that screwed up. Hi, everybody. Again, welcome to this October the 1st, 2024. We welcome you to another edition of the ACHA Power Play here on 12-ounce Sports and Dingo TV, channel 217. The road to St. Louis keeps going as we are now about 5.5 months. I know it sounds crazy to say that the road to St. Louis, 5.5 months away, but as you all know on our podcast, it goes by quick, and we get our attention geared to it. The marathon part of the schedule right now, if you will, with the teams starting to get into the meat of their schedules, starting to get play underway. I know this weekend there's some big games. Scheduled to join us tonight is Brandon Rozema, the head coach of Aquinas College, brand new head coach of Aquinas. It's been kind of a whirlwind for him over the past, I'd say 6 months to a year, going from playing on the team to now the head coach, and all kinds of stuff going on. So with him, and we hope to be able to catch up with him here shortly. We'll try again here in a moment to try to see if we can hook up with him to talk a little Aquinas College hockey, men's Division I style, as they get their year started. Actually, they played last weekend with a big weekend against Hope College, one of their longtime rivals. Hope, as we all know, is going to be going to D1 next year in the men's side. So that ought to be interesting for them as well. And also scheduled to join us at the bottom of the hour, Lindsey Ellis, the head coach of Arizona State's women's D1 team. That Arizona State team last year, what a heck of a run they had. They lost their first game in the women's national tournament, then they won a big one, and then of course that heartbreaker that they lost to Liberty by the score of 3-2. But Quinn Eatinger, I think she had 70 saves in that contest. It was absolutely one of the most heart-stopping games that I've ever been witness to, been able to broadcast on as far as ACHA hockey goes. So Lindsey will join us. She's also been named the Winter Women's head coach of the Winter Games over in Torino, Italy, coming up in January of 2025, the collegiate games, where the ACHA is sending a men's and a women's team here from the United States to compete over there in an Olympic-style game. And we get to talk to Lindsey about that and how everything that's going on in her world of Arizona State hockey as they keep climbing the ladder. She, of course, a former national champion herself as a player, 9th year as the head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils. So we'll talk to her at the bottom of the hour. Lots to talk about. We'll go through the preseason rankings again for the men's Division I. Remember, that's the only rankings that we really have right now until November. That's when things start to get they start to get interesting. You start to get the rankings for each of the 5 divisions, kind of see where your teams sit. As we all know how it works in the men's team, they take 24 teams now, and you get 8 automatic berths with the conference championships, 8 or 9. I'll have to double check on that, but 9 automatic berths there. And so that's for Division I. D2 is the one where they have the regional tournament still, and the top 2 teams in each region in the rankings, they get an automatic berth to St. Louis to the national tournament in 2025 in March. Then it's 3 through 14 to a single elimination bracketed 3-day tournament. And that's some excellent hockey as well. So that's the rankings will start coming out for them in November as well. D3, they take the top 16 in the rankings, computer rankings. And so it gets pretty exciting there towards the end of the year, following the rankings, kind of eyeing up who's going to go where. And I know that we'll keep an eye on that throughout the year. And then the women's D1 and D2 are the same. Of course, the women's D1 with a 10-team tournament at the end of the year. The top teams get an opening round bye. It's a double elimination style. And so in the first round, so if you lose, you're not necessarily out, but it makes for your backs up against the wall. We had some amazing hockey in that tournament as well. Minot State and Michigan played in the opening round, and Minot State scored with 1/10 of a second left to tie it up. And then they won it in regulation time. Michigan suffering a couple of heartbreaking losses in that tournament, in that one, and then they lost 2-1 to Dearborn as well. We talked about Arizona State losing the first game, going to the losers bracket, beating McKendree in overtime, and then going up against the 5-time defending national champion Liberty Flames. Jumped out to a 2-0 lead, lost that one in overtime. So that was, again, a game of the ages. I was lucky enough to be able to broadcast that one. And, that kept us on the edge of our seats throughout that contest. The action back and forth in that game is absolutely amazing. So the women's brackets, their rankings will come out in November as well. And then coming up, the D2 rankings for the women, they qualify in pool play just like the men's D2 do as well in D3 for nationals. They get 16 teams in 4 pools. So the D2 and D3 men's, of course, pool play once they get to the nationals, along with D2 for the women. So the rankings will start coming out November 1st, and then we'll be able to follow those. But we'll go through some of those rankings here a little bit later on in the show as well for D1. The men's preseason rankings are out, and a lot of the usual suspects, as you will, are atop some of those games as well. Then we'll talk a little bit about some of the tournaments we've got. We talked to Dave Kurtz last program a couple of weeks ago, the executive director of hockey operations, the director of hockey operations for the ACHA. And, one of the cool things with the ACHA over the years is we've seen a lot more in-season tournaments, kind of gets the teams kind of that feel for national tournament play, kind of measuring sticks, if you will, but just great action. Just about, you get teams that travel a lot of times from all over the country to come to these, like Arizona State's going to go to Maryville, which is just outside of St. Louis. They're going to, and then teams from Michigan are going to go out that way. And then, there's a lot of travel involved with these. And so, but it is a great setup for these teams to be able to get together and, go through and get some, just get, again, ready for the national tournament. So we'll talk about that. Then we got an interesting story I want to touch on probably a little bit later on about, the recognition that some of these teams deserve from the universities that a lot of times they don't get because they're non-varsity. And it really it touched a nerve with me. I read this one about Michigan State, and it really touched a nerve with me. And I want to kind of go over it a little bit and kind of give you my thoughts on it. And it's not the first time this has happened. And I've seen it in other facets, along with universities not recognizing maybe, their own students that are broadcasting their games. And it just really, it just, again, kind of rubs me the wrong way on it. And I want to go over that a little bit. We'll do that a little bit later on too. So a lot of fun coming on the show again, coming up on the show here today. I don't know about you. I hope if you're a Tigers fan and a Kansas City Royals fan, have you taken a deep breath? Have you kind of collected yourself after those riveting couple of games here this afternoon? Detroit, of course, winning 3-1 over Houston to take a 1-0 lead in that wild card round tournament. And then Kansas City with a 1-0 lead or 1-0 victory over Baltimore. And they held them off in the 9th inning as well. So a couple of big games. So I know that's baseball and not hockey, but with playoffs this time of year, just had to mention that. And I know, not trying to rub it in, but again, mentioning our director of hockey operations, Dave Kurtz, a diehard Baltimore Orioles fan. I know that was a tough pill for him to swallow this afternoon, but there's always tomorrow, as it's the best out of 3. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see if we can't effort our first guest, Brandon Rozema, the head coach of Aquinas College, the men's team. And we'll see if we can't hook up with him here. We'll be right back. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live here on 12 Ounce Sports and Dingo TV channel 217.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them. Yeah. Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ACHA Power Play. And yes, 12ouncesports.com/tickets. If you're in Houston tomorrow, get tickets for game 2. I know there's some available. Maybe you can watch the Tigers wrap it up. That would be amazing. All right, let's without any further ado, let's go to our guest line and let's bring in the brand new coach of the Aquinas College program in men's D1, the Saints, former player Brandon Rozema. Rosie, how are you? Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Captain Lou, thanks for having me. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit ACHA hockey and Aquinas.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, man, your head's still got to be spinning. It's been a whirlwind 12 months for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been kind of surreal, kind of saying goodbye to hockey as a player come last February, and then getting the job on April 1 to take over the program, and then hitting the recruiting trail and trying to bring in quality players to Aquinas College.
I'm sure it's tell me the first, I don't know, maybe the first transition. What was the toughest thing from putting the player skates off and now putting the coaching skates on?
I think too, to remember, a lot of the guys on this team, I was their captain here, and kind of separating ourselves. Obviously they're still my brothers, but when it comes to hockey right now, it's a coach to player relationship, and kind of set that standard. And I have really good assistant coaches too that we're not in my situation, coming from a player to a coach, so they kind of help with that, breaking that gap up a little bit more per se. So, but no, I'm really thankful to have the job, and to have the trust of our athletic department, and then to our players. I love the players, and they're, at the end of the day, I don't have this job, coaching hockey if it wasn't for the product on the ice, and that's the players. So that being said, I'm just looking forward to continuing the season.
Yeah, the season got underway last weekend. We'll talk about that in a moment. A big opening game win for you. So you made the transition into coaching, and you hit the recruiting trail. Did you recruit all summer? Did you just hit the ground running? Or is that a 12-month-a-year business now in coaching?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to go on a trip with the coaching staff in December, the last year I was playing, and I was able to go and make some connections with some players while I was still playing, because I figured I would be around, the staff figured I'd be around in some capacity this year, let it be alone, not I'm the head coach, but I was able to talk to some players at a couple showcases, and then too, it's a lot of connections that I knew or I reached out to, and sometimes some good things fall into your lap, and you're able to get some quality players that are looking for a home, that may not have knew what the ACHA was, or for instance, I got a phone call from a player in mid-August, right before school was starting, and we were able to get him in. He's from Canada, and was able to get in and get all of his stuff in, and able to come to school and play hockey here. So it was, a lot of it was, somewhat luck, but then too, it was a lot of, barking up trees, trying to find out, where the guys' heads were at for next season. And that's kind of what happened. And I was able to, bring in 13 to 14, and able to get a couple kids that were in the area that wanted to come back and play. So like Brendan Bourne, he played with my brother at Granville, and he's same with Easton Pratt. His brother actually plays for Calvin, and they've all played together at Granville. My brother Gavin and Holden Pratt on Calvin and Easton. We get Easton Pratt from Granville and Brendan Bourne, where they're all teammates. So when we play those guys in a couple of weeks, I'm sure that'll be a fun one. So,
well, I can't wait for that one, that Wednesday night game I think it's October 16th. Be front and center for that one. That's going to be interesting. That's the kind of cool thing, Brandon, about the product. The level of hockey in the Grand Rapids area with the ACHA is phenomenal. You've got you guys and Grand Valley and Calvin and Davenport, and then Hope down the road, which will be D1 next year. It's going to turn into a mecca. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to make scheduling really, really easy, especially for us too, not being in there in the GL6. So our non-league games, if they want to play, we'll gladly play home and homes with them all the time. We're excited for that. Our bus travel will probably be just in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, and not our non-leagues. We won't have to travel too far for those.
So I know that prior to getting the job at Aquinas, you've already were coaching at the high school level, I think with Byron Center, if I'm not mistaken, and then some U18 teams. When did coaching first get into your blood? When did you get that fire to be a coach, Brandon?
Yeah, so during COVID, when I was a sophomore at Aquinas, we were set to play Kelvin in the national tournament.
Yep.
It was like a 16-17 matchup in 2020. I kind of had this idea that, maybe I'll get something off the ground running and we'll do like some training or like just get out on the ice. But then what really stuck was there was no high school hockey summer league.
Yeah.
So no high school hockey summer league that summer. So I decided that I would start renting ice as a private rental. And then, if I was able to, get some guys to come out, then it'd be worth my while to keep doing that and train those guys over the summer. And then while I was still playing college and then just training the younger kids, high school, after my summer sessions went out, like one day we ended up having close to 50 kids on the ice for one skate. And I got approached by two of the dads and they said, high school hockey, we don't think it's going to start on time. Are you able to coach in the fall? And at that time, we didn't really think that we were going to be playing college either. So they were like, would you like to coach an 18U team? And sure enough, it kind of took the ground running, and I started coaching that team. And then we coached in that fall, had a blast, won a couple tournaments, with just high school hockey kids from the area. And then that next spring, we added 2 teams to, kind of keep more kids on the ice, more kids playing hockey. If kids want to play, they can come to my program. And now we're still doing it. So it's at least 2 teams every fall and spring for the high school hockey kids. So I've been doing that. And then this past year was fortunate enough to get asked to hop on a bench, and it was really, I want to say dumb luck, but you didn't really have to be Scotty Bowman to win the championship this year for us with the team that we had. And saying that, like we were really gifted with some great talented players that made our jobs very, very easy. So, but it was a great experience. I had a blast coaching with Byron Center, and I'm going to do it again in some capacity this year, whether it's, helping out as an assistant when I can, that type of thing, just to be around the game still. And their practices line up really good because they practice after school, and then I can just stay at Southside and then coach Aquinas in the evening hours.
Boy, oh boy, man, I can listen to I can tell the fire in your voice, and it really is. It's catchy. I love it, man. I really do. So we're joined by Brandon Rozema, the new head coach at Aquinas College, off to a 1-1 start this past weekend. You got your first game under your belt on Friday night, Brandon, against Hope College, one of the rivals. They're one of the big rivals in the area. You guys jumped out to a 2-0 lead. They tied it up. You got the go-ahead goal. Man, what was it feeling like those last couple of minutes there towards the end?
Yeah, I'll give a ton of credit to Hope. They definitely wanted to win that game very, very bad. And on our shot chart, the scratches are taking, the shots where they're coming from. Randon Striplin won us that game in the third period. And that, just to say that there was probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 point blank chances right in front of our net. And then he was there to answer the call there, and definitely won us that game. But man, they're well coached. They're structured. They have a lot of talent on that team. Like I would love if, obviously I think they could come into ACHA D1 and make some noise. Right away. If they were playing this year, but no, they are a solid team. They're D1 ready for sure. And they were hungry Saturday night, and that's for sure with that result. So
then next weekend, you've got your first home game with a home and home with Grand Valley, right from out of the frying pan and into the fire. That's going to be an exciting weekend for you guys with another rival over there out of Allendale.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're excited because, like, in the preseason poll, they're ranked in the top 15. We got Calvin also ranked top 15. Like, all these teams that are going to be quality opponents for us. And you know, like if we really want to build this into what we want it to be and get it back to a national, you know, tournament contender, making the tournament, like we got to be battle tested and play these tough games. You know, I'm looking forward to throwing our team, you know, at the nation's best. And two, I'm also looking forward to going down and playing Adrian. We have them on the schedule. So we're going to go play them too. It's just like, we're not going to, you know, really build a program unless you go and play the tough teams. Yeah, it's easy to go play, you know, whoever and win 2 games. But in my eyes, I think it's important too to make sure your guys know where they have to be at if one day we want to be where they are, you know, at the top of the nation in the polls.
So you mentioned your roster. It's a young team, but you've got a nice mix of veterans. You've got some guys obviously that you played with. But I look at your roster, and it is young, and they're going to get experience, and but they're talented. It looks like too.
Yeah, no, it's a really good mix. Quite frankly, you know, you never want to make excuses for a way a team plays or what have you. But you know, we had 3 returning players from this year's lineup out of the lineup this past weekend, all due to injuries that happened before we even played a game. So, which really hurts. You know, Christian Luck, he didn't suit up this weekend. And you know, he's a 40-point guy last year on the back end. Playing D, like that would have been really, really nice to have him in the lineup. And then same with Austin Gilmore, who was a point per game player last year. It was going to be one of our top 6 players, no doubt, and probably our first line center. But then he goes down with an injury, and it's one of those things where you know, the young guys stepped up. We got our freshmen in. We even played and when the game got out of hand Saturday, we put in a freshman goalie, and we were really impressed with how he played, you know, finishing out that game. So all of our guys got on the ice that were in the lineup, and that's huge for me. At least they, you know, were able to play and get a taste of it. And that's what this whole thing's going to be about. And looking forward, you know, you hate the word rebuild, and you never want to use it, you know, because you never know what can happen, especially in the ACHA. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night, and that's what we're looking forward to. We like kind of being the underdog and that type of mentality and kind of changing the wave. You know, we want that to kind of be our MO of, you know, let's go in there and surprise some people this season, and two, but play with a chip on our shoulder, play aggressive, play in your face hockey, north-south, and two, like, don't let anybody bully you out there. That's the biggest thing.
So do you have any free time left right now?
Yeah, a little bit. So part of my job too at Aquinas, obviously hockey coach, but then I also took the job of international admissions counselor at Aquinas College.
Okay.
So anybody that applies from anywhere, you know, internationally, I'm their point of contact, and I work with them in terms of, you know, seeing if Aquinas would be the right fit for them, and two, walking them through the application process. So that's kind of what I do, both, you know, in my day-to-day life, and then two, I'm still coaching some 18U hockey, and kind of more of a director role for my 18U stuff, because, you know, I just get so busy. But yeah, I'm loving it. I love to be around the campus, and anybody wants to talk about Aquinas College, I'll be glad to tell them that it was a great place for me, and would love to see if they wanted to fit for them. So.
And then you got married this year too. Wow.
Yeah, that happened.
Congratulations.
So, no, thank you. No, it's been a whirlwind, but it's been fun, and I wouldn't trade it any other way. And you know, it's you know, I'm just happy to do it, and I never want to get worn out of it, and I don't think I ever will. You know, I love being here super early at the rink, just doing whatever I need to do. So
I don't think you're ever going to get worn out of it either. I can tell by your personality, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the years, and I'm thankful to be able to call you a friend. Brandon, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Good luck. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks for the Aquinas Calvin game on Wednesday night, and man, keep up the great work. I know you're going to do great things with Aquinas.
Oh, Captain Lou, thank you so much for letting me come on, man. My pleasure. And anytime you need a guest, I'm always here.
So. Right on. All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Hey, take care now.
You too. All right. Brandon Rozema, the head coach of Aquinas College's men's D1 team, off to a decent start, a 1-1 start against, like we mentioned, a very, very good Hope College team. They are Hope, of course, you know the pedigree with them. If you followed my program over the years, you know that they're always there. They've won national titles at the D3 level, making the jump to D1, but that's still going to be they're still a formidable foe. They're going to be right there in the conversation to go to St. Louis. But Aquinas is going to build something. Brandon Rozema, it's quite a job that he's done. He took over. He was a player. He graduated this past April and concluded a very, very, very good career at Aquinas, the leading scorer, I think, in Aquinas history. And like he said, he was kind of coaching during that, and he's just been able to keep it going. And you can tell by his enthusiasm and by his work ethic, especially, that they're going to do great things at Aquinas, and they'll get it turned around. Not that it's in super bad shape, but they've, as far as the national rankings have gone, they haven't been quite up there yet to get into the national tournament. But if they keep it up like they're doing, they're going to be a familiar face in the national tournament before long. So get to know Aquinas College again at the ACHA level. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. When we come back, scheduled to join us in a few moments will be Lindsey Ellis, the head coach of Arizona State, the women's Sun Devils team. Quite a run last year at the national tournament, and she's got her plate full coming up with coaching the Winter Classic, the Winter Games over in Torino, Italy in January, along with her team as they try to get back and make a little more noise at the national tournament. That and a lot more. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live right here on 12 Ounce Sports and Dingo TV, channel 217.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Right, thanks, Jeff. Of course, Jeff Beck, the godfather of 12 Ounce Sports, and the man who gives us the platform here for our 9th season of the ACHA Power Play here. That's on 12 Ounce Sports and also on Dingo TV, channel 217. You can join us. And also subscribe to our YouTube channels, 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network, where you can see replays of the ACHA Power Play in their entirety right here. It's that simple. And again, we're going to have live shows every other Tuesday through November. And then after the first of the year, we will go every week. Who knows? Maybe before that, we'll go every week, depending on the schedule. But as things start to ratchet up a little bit to the road to St. Louis in 2025, but you can join us every week here, 7 o'clock on 12 Ounce Sports for the ACHA Power Play. As we it is such a treat to talk to coaches with the enthusiasm. And right there at the top, we thank Brandon Rozema, the head coach of Aquinas College, for taking time out. All those years he played as forward for the Saints and had a great career there, and has now been able to parlay it as the head coach of the Saints. And it's always interesting to hear the recruiting stories and how hard it is and what they do. And for a layman like myself who just is, still, really behind the scenes as far as what goes on with that. So I want to thank Brandon for that. And he talked about some of the rankings that some of the ranked teams that they play and they're going to play. And let's see if we can bring up here the rankings. See if I can do this. I was able to do this last time. So let me see if I can do that. Maybe I cannot. Let's see. I think we might be able to do that. There we go. How about that? The preseason rankings are out for the ACHA in Men's Division I. We talked about it at the top. Really the only one that is available right now. And that's Adrian College, right, as they went in, the defending national champions, ranked number 1. They got 21 of the 24 first place votes. UNLV, of course, they played them in the finals. They're ranked second. Minot State 3. You can see the list right there. Ohio, Liberty at 5, Central Oklahoma at 6, Purdue Northwest at 7, Jamestown at 8, Maryville at 9. All teams that made a good run into the national tournament last year. Maryville, they're always there. Pitt, they've become a regular staple of the national tournament. The University of Mary, we all know about their short but very storied career at the ACHA level. At D2, they were a powerhouse, a couple of national tournaments, 3 straight runs into the national tournament, a couple of championships, I should say, at the D2 level. They'll be right there at the end of the year for the men's D1 tournament. Calvin, as Coach Rozema commented, they're at 12. Grand Valley State at 13, back-to-back Michigan schools right there. Grand Canyon, they're at 14. They'll be right there coming to national tournament time. Then you've got Niagara, Missouri State, Oswego State. They made an interesting run last year at the Nationals, winning a game. Then you've got Illinois State, Utah, Arizona, Indiana Tech from the WAC conference, Delaware, Indiana, U of Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Iowa State. Those are the tournament or the top 25 in the ACHA men's D1. So again, they they're the ones to keep an eye on right now as we will go through the season coming up. So yeah, it's a very, very it's a fun time of year. I know it's only October. Hockey has really started up with all the colleges. The ACHA level started a couple of weeks ago, and we even had some teams that played earlier in the year, like in September, right around Labor Day. So they stretch it out throughout the fall calendar, if you will, and then it gets kicked back in after the first of the year, where you get about 6 to 8 weeks to get prepped for the national tournament run in all 5 divisions. All 500 teams make their mark and try to make their way to St. Louis for the 5 divisions. So, all right, here and momentarily we'll be joined by Lindsey Ellis, the head coach of Arizona State, as they get their season going in high gear. Let's see if we can bring her in right now. Hi, Lindsey. Thanks for taking time out tonight. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you again for coming on with us. The fun starts now, Lindsey, with the season underway. The road to St. Louis kicking into gear.
Yes, absolutely. We're so excited, and we have our first game on Friday, so we're getting prepared for that.
So I want to talk about last year's national tournament run. I know the first game wasn't one of your better ones, but then you had a heck of a run, winning over McKendree, I believe, in overtime. And then I got to tell you, I've called a lot of hockey games play-by-play. And your game, I know you didn't win, but that game against Liberty ranks up in the top 2 or 3 of all the games I think I've ever called. What a performance. It was so riveting from puck drop right to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was definitely a heartbreaking end, knowing that, we definitely could have won that one and took a dumb penalty at the end to go to overtime. But it's funny, after the game, we're headed to the locker room, and a bunch of the ACHA staff and other coaches are coming to our locker room. And I'm like, I thought we lost. So it was cool to see the support that we had from, my peers and some people in the ACHA. So yeah, that was a great game.
And I looked at your roster, and I look at it again this year, Lindsey, and it's young. And seeing that, the youngsters on your roster last year gaining that experience, you know what it's like. You've been to the mountaintop as a player. So gaining that experience, man, is huge going into this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even this year, we have 16 new players. So wow. Our upperclassmen are very few and far between, but our sophomores, they got a lot of experience now. So although they're young, I think we'll do really well with this group.
So one of the things that always fascinates me, Lindsey, is schools, in for lack of a better word, in your neck of the woods down in Arizona, it's, hockey's become popular out there, but it's still, is it hard to recruit out that way? I know it's tough travel, but tell me a little bit about that, the challenges maybe on the recruiting trail for getting gals to play out in Arizona.
Yeah, at the beginning, it was tough, trying to sell girls on a vision that we want to win a national title. And it was kind of like, okay, maybe one day, but we're not there. We'd rather go somewhere that's more established. And we really ran into that problem at the beginning. But now that we are winning, now that we're going to the national tournament, we don't have problems at all. The biggest problem we have is somebody that wants to pay international tuition coming from Canada. So we're hoping for great students that can get academic scholarships, and past that, we're turning more girls away at this point than accepting them. So it is really exciting. We're in a huge kind of turning point in our program to, hopefully make a title run in the next few years. So it's fun now that we're a better program.
You've been there 9 years. How long did it take you before you could say something like that?
8.
Okay. But
Yeah.
you can see the fruits of your labor. And then I bet you that also helps you with scheduling, because I see that, you're opening this weekend, but you're going to be traveling up to play in Michigan in January or February. You're going to Maryville, but you've got teams that are starting to, teams of relevance that are coming to your barn to play as well.
Yeah, it's really exciting. We'll continue to travel coast to coast and try and get the best teams. That's what we want to do, which is why we went independent. But yeah, it is really exciting that we don't have to travel for an entire day and then, play a really tough opponent. Now they're doing it for us. So it's really cool to see that now we're at that point that we can do that.
So your first game is this weekend, you mentioned. What's been your timeline? When did you really start getting into practice, getting the gals together, organized? I mean, I know they probably worked out alone, during the summer, maybe played in some tournaments or leagues or whatever. But when does your season officially start?
Yeah, so we started practice on August 22nd, which was their first day of class. So before they even touched foot in a classroom as freshmen, they were on the ice with us, which is really great for us. And I wish we could do sooner. We try and get them right away when they're on campus, which is great that we don't have the rules that the NCAA has. We can go with them right away. And then, they've been working really, really hard all of September, and they're ready for Friday now. So yeah, we're excited for it.
If they get a chance to skate against somebody besides themselves, I bet you that's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're joined by Lindsey Ellis, the head coach of Arizona State women's D1 program, as they embark on the road to St. Louis. I know coaches don't like to talk about St. Louis, but it's in everybody. It's in the back of the minds of everybody, and once you get a taste of that, I know you want to be back there, don't you?
Absolutely. And we had a team meeting, before we start our first official practice, we have a team meeting, and we like to make our season goals with our players so that they're, very feasible, and they know them and can buy into them as well. And, they as players and we as a coaching staff agreed on goals that are very reachable to get us back to St. Louis. So I think it's great to get the players in on that right away as well. So they know that we want to be back in St. Louis, and they're absolutely putting in the work to do it.
Well, also, I see you're wearing your Sun Devils hat, and I understand why, but there's another hat that you're going to be wearing come January. Actually, I'm sure you're probably putting that hat on right now. Yes. You're the head coach of the Winter World University Games over in Torino in January. And I for some reason that Craig Barnett keeps saying he doesn't need a play-by-play guy over in Italy in January. I don't know why not, but I'd love to join you guys over there. But that's starting up for you. It's going to be a fun and exciting experience for you as well.
Yes, it is. And, honestly, the last few months, I don't think other coaches would approach it the way I have, but I have watched so much film. There's so many transfers into our league now from U Sport and NCAA. I've looked up every single American player that's transferred, whether they're first or second year. I mean, I've watched so much film in the past few months. So I really, really, really think that we have the best American group representing the ACHA. And I'm excited that we can announce it finally soon in about a month. So yeah, I'm excited with the roster that we have. And I've spoken to every single girl on the phone, and they all seem like they have great character, great work ethic, and they're very excited. So yeah, I think it'll be great.
So if you can tell us, I'm not asking the names, but so do you guys or the gals, do you play like exhibition games over here before you go to Italy in January, or do you get together and practice like around the holidays? How does that work before you head over to Italy?
Yeah, so we'll get together right before we head to Italy. So we'll fly out as a team after we practice, but a scrimmage is still to be determined. I really hope we can get one in, but yes, we will get to practice a couple times before, we enter game surface in Italy.
So I need to ask you, how does that work then with the Sun Devils? Are your assistants going to take over for you when you're over in Italy, and how long are you going to be over there?
Yes. So we'll be over there for about 2 weeks or a week and a half or so. So we do have one game. Well, we're gone against Michigan State. So my assistants are taking over and they'll be okay. And then we get back for about a day and we play Midland. So,
oh boy.
Yep. So they'll be tasked with preparing everybody, but they'll be okay. They know exactly what we need to do.
And that's, we talk about going from the frying pan into the fire. You get back and you get another national power just like you right out of the chute when you get back.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a team we're excited for. So I'm sure I'll be annoying them at odd hours while I'm there.
I was going to say, do you have an international plan for your cell phone that is affordable with the calls that you'll be making over here?
Not yet. I'll have to figure that one out.
So when you're there, are you going to be able to get any chance to play tourist besides hockey coach?
I think we have like maybe 1 or 2 down days. I'm really just focused on, we want to bring home a medal. That's our goal. So at this point, I haven't even thought about the tourist side. So maybe I'll figure that out when I get there.
Lindsey, that's one thing I've talked to you before, and I got to tell you, I have never met a more laser focused person as a coach than you. And you and also one of your assistants, Jenna Trubiano from Michigan. You two are two of the most laser focused coaches, and I admire that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, all right, let's get back to your team right now. You said they're young. What has maybe been a pleasant surprise for you in the first month or so of practice getting ready for your games this weekend?
Yeah, we have, with 16 new faces, I think it's taken a bit of time to get our structures in place and really give them our expectations of where it needs to be. But kind of I think it was Wednesday last week, we were doing a drill and things just really started clicking. And I was like, wow, we were not at this point last year. It probably took us until November to really, get our structures down. And, we had some great practices last week where I was like, I think this is the group that, is buying into not only the way we're doing things here and our expectations, but they're really clicking with the structures we have. So we're excited about that because this is definitely the quickest that these girls have, caught on to what we're trying to do here in terms of what we want to do performance-wise.
I was talking with Dave Kurtz, the director of hockey operations, on our opening show a couple weeks ago, and one of the things I talked to him about is the amount of like showcases and kind of in-season tournaments that have, there's more of them out there. And I see that you're going to be playing in Maryville, I believe, at one. Those have got to be good tests and good experience for your girls and, for coaching as well. That seems to have changed over the years. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah. There's not as many, I would say, in terms of like the showcase wise, but people going on trips and just playing as many teams as they can. I mean, we absolutely do that travel wise to save financially, but I would say, if you're hitting a team in St. Louis, you might as well hit all 3. Same as Michigan. If you play one, you got a lot of options up there. But I think that's starting to be pretty normal where people are flying in early, staying for 5 or 6 or 7 days and creating their own week-long schedule of wherever they're at. So,
and then you also, not only are you looking forward to obviously the Nationals in the back of your mind, you've got a conference that you play in that's been pretty successful. And tell us a little bit about that conference again.
Are you referring to the WWCHL?
Yes.
Yes. So we actually just we are going independent this year. So this is our
Oh,
first
okay.
year that we are not playing.
Okay, well,
in
my
the
bad. I
WWE
didn't do my
stuff.
homework well
That's
enough.
okay. That's all
So
right.
I know,
Yeah, but
and I know that you've got a new rival in your own state now with Arizona starting up their program.
yes, that's something we're excited for. They don't care that we've been here 9 years, and we don't care that this is their first year. The U of A ASU rivalry goes back for ever against every single sport. So we're excited that it's now on the women's hockey side.
So, okay, obviously you're looking for 2 wins this weekend, but what other than that, what kind of things do you look for in an opening weekend of hockey?
Well, I think our expectations are slightly different with so many new faces. I think it's, do we have some sort of, recognition of the concepts we've put in place, or are we kind of running around? So, with so many new players, it's really making sure we're, playing Sun Devil hockey versus playing individual games. And that's something that we're kind of focusing on more as we're starting games now.
Well, Lindsey, I know you're busy and you're going 100 miles an hour and I love it. It's again, with you and our previous guest, Brandon Rozema, your love and enthusiasm for the game, it shows. And I appreciate you taking time out tonight to be with us. Good luck this weekend. Good luck, obviously, this year. Would love to see you and your gals back in St. Louis in March. And again, good luck in Italy. That's going to be such a rewarding experience too. It'll be fun to keep an eye on your team this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Good luck. All right. Lindsey Ellis, the head coach of Arizona State, the Sun Devils, looking to make that next step at the national tournament level. Again, go back and look. If you've got Flow Hockey, check out 2024, the women's D1 national tournament, some of those games. And again, I know that wasn't really where she wanted to be. Obviously everybody wants to win it all. But they had Liberty on the ropes, but they've got something special down there. And I got a feeling they're just as poised as anybody at the D1 women's level to take that next step and get the brass ring. But they've got so much going on. She does anyways. Coaching the Winter World University games. That's going to be, again, it's she's also got with her as assistant coaches Anna Quattro, the head coach at Niagara, and we mentioned Jenna Trubiano. She's the head coach at Michigan. Both those coaches have tasted success, and it sounds like to me that Lindsey's got she's ahead of the game, and I can't wait to hear who's going to be on the rosters when they are announced. And it sounds like she's done a lot of homework, and that again, you can tell by the success that she's had. 9th year as the head coach at Arizona State, and of course she played at Miami, as you could probably see the banner in the background. She was a national champion there as well. So again, thanks to Lindsey Ellis for taking time out to join us. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up here on the ACHA Power Play. It's October the 1st. The road to St. Louis, the engine is started. We're going down that road. We'll be there before long. But we've got more right after this here on the ACHA Power Play on 12 Ounce Sports and Dingo TV Channel 217.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
All right, again, if there's a game that you want to go to this weekend, in any of the pro sports, football, of course, baseball with the playoffs. Who knows who's going to be in those divisional round playoffs, but we'll have tickets for you there at 12ouncesports.com/tickets. And use the promo code 12ounce and you get an even better deal at that as well. So, and the NHL starting up a week from tonight. Yeah, opening puck drop for the regular season's coming up. Actually, I think it's a weekend, so it's like within 10 days, the teams will get on the ice for real in the NHL. Well, the gals and the guys are getting on the ice for real right now in the ACHA as we're just about a month in. I know some of the teams started playing right after Labor Day, so the games are starting up. We've got some big matchups. We talked about it at Aquinas with Grand Valley taking on they're playing this weekend. Thursday night, Calvin's playing Michigan Dearborn in Calvin, and that's first of a home and home there as well. A lot of the big names, Adrian's opening up, the defending national champions in Division I. The women's side, we mentioned Arizona State. They're going to be opening up their play right now as they open up this weekend against Grand Canyon in Tempe, and then they have the return game in Phoenix. So then, as I mentioned, they're going to go to Chesterfield, Missouri, and they're going to take on Maryville and Lindenwood for 3 games, and McKendree they're going to play as well. Those are all powerhouses. I look at this schedule. They're going to play McKendree again towards the P. Then they're going to come in. Michigan State's going to come in January, and then again she mentioned Midland coming to town in January, and then of course they've got their rivalry with Arizona. Then they're going to come to Michigan and play Adrian and the University of Michigan and Grand Valley. So 4 games there, and then Dearborn on Sunday. So that's quite the weekend of women's hockey in Michigan. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to that. So everybody's opening up right now in the ACHA, and it's awesome. Can't wait to bring that. So talk more about it as the road to St. Louis is started on our 9th season here of the ACHA Power Play, starting back in 2016. It's been so much fun getting to know the coaches and talking to the coaches and everybody involved in the ACHA. And we're not stopping. We're bringing it to you every week here on 12-Ounce Sports and Dingo TV, channel 217. There's something, though, that really I saw this the other day, and I was reading about it on the website, achahockey.org. They took the story from the state news at Michigan State. Michigan State, some of the schools and some of the teams that, they get absolutely no recognition from their universities. And, it's just mind boggling to me. Michigan State, for example, they don't even recognize them as a club team. They don't give them any breaks with ice time or, anything, uniforms. They're not even allowed to use the same logo and everything. And I understand they're not university funded. I get it. And they pay their own way for meals, hotels, the whole bit. That's the thing with ACHA non-varsity hockey, that a lot of these teams, they have a president, they have a secretary, they have to have those to juggle the responsibilities to get everything. The head coach can't do all that. It's just, there's not enough time in the day. And so these kids, not only do they have to go to class on their own dime, unless they get academic scholarships, they got practice time, ice time and you've got a situation like this in East Lansing. Once in a while, they'll get to play at Munn, where the varsity plays. A lot of times they're at the other complexes in East Lansing. But it is a shame because the quality of hockey especially at the women's level here in the state of Michigan, is beyond me. The lack of recognition that they get. I know there's a fight right now in Ann Arbor to try to get that to the varsity level. And I know Jenna Trubiano and Denise Illich are doing a whale of a job getting the name out. But it floors me, especially here in Michigan, at the 2 biggest schools, the lack of recognition and the lack of, just cooperation, if nothing else, that these 2 schools give them. It's just mind boggling to me. And Michigan State has been to the mountaintop in women's hockey in the ACHA. They've won championships, and they've won them quite sooner than, the men's team has at the NCAA level. I know that they're good this year, and then I look at like Central Michigan, a few years back, Central Michigan alums Sean Bednard and Tyler Marcotte, they ran the Central Michigan Hockey Network. They were told they couldn't even call it that. They couldn't call it the Chippewa Network because they had the word Chippewa, which is the varsity quote unquote logo and whatnot. You know, and I remember, you know, I'm an alum of Central Michigan, and I used to be a donor. And the way they treated them, I stopped. You know, these kids that put this time and effort in at all the schools, not just in Michigan, everywhere, they represent your university. They get name recognition out to your university. They bring students in. They bring tuition dollars in. They bring economy to the schools. And to not even let them wear your sweater, your logo on their sweater that you're not even paying for, to me is an absolute travesty. And, you know, for Central Michigan, their hockey teams, that's the closest that you'll ever come to a national tournament ever, is those hockey teams at any level. And that's just one thing that just blows me away. I get frustrated when I read it because I see the time and the effort that these kids put in, men and women. They are representing your university in a very classy way. They're very organized. They're very dedicated. They're very responsible. I mean, they have to be, to graduate and play hockey on their own dime. And you won't even give them that recognition. I say shame on you guys. So, all right, that's it. I'm off my soapbox for now. It's back to watching some great hockey. If you're going to be in Calvin Thursday night, stop by and say hi. We'll be there I'll be broadcasting that for the Calvin Network as they take on Michigan Dearborn. Again, I want to thank my guest tonight, Brandon Rozema, the head coach of Arizona State, of Aquinas College. I get that mixed up, as he's in his first year. They've got a big weekend matchup with Grand Valley Friday and Saturday. And I want to thank Lindsey Ellis, the head coach of Arizona State, their women's D1 team, off this weekend, or they're going to be playing their first weekend of games in the 2024-25 season. And again, congratulations to her as being named the head coach of the Winter World University Games over in Torino, Italy in January. That's going to be a lot of fun for her and her team. So I want to thank them for joining us. And I also want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, on your TVs and on your computers, right here on 12 Ounce Sports and Dingo TV, channel 217. All right. Enjoy your week, everybody. Enjoy the hockey this weekend. If you get a chance to get out, it's, again, a great brand of hockey. Can't wait as the season starts back, or continues, and I'll get a chance to see it firsthand Thursday night. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. This reminder, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the ACHA Power Play here on Dingo TV, channel 217, 12 Ounce Sports, and the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. So long.